Hi, I'm Julian.
Hey, I'm Hunter.
And my name is Faye.
We are the Bulldog Buddies.
But we didn't start out this way. When we were first given this assignment, we all had seemingly different purposes.
I wanted to create a high school and elementary school buddy system.
I wanted to create a gardening club.
I wanted to create a gaming club.
And I wanted to inspire environmental activism.
Though these all mean different things, the overall big picture is unity.
What drew us together as a group was our common thread for creating connections through creativity.
Growing up, making friends is not always the easiest.
The problem we aimed to solve with our Positive Impact project was giving kids an easier outlet for making connections through creative play during elementary school recess.
So let's take a look at how we made it all happen. Brendel Elementary School sent out a request for a group to take over a room that they called a play pod. Feeling intrigued, we decided to contact the principal of Brendel, Mrs. Getz, first through emailing. But when we found difficulty with this, we decided it was the best to call her work phone. We were able to contact her and set up a time for us to introduce to her what our ideas were for taking over the play pod.
With lots of ideas and little knowledge, we created a massive concept map for potential things that we could incorporate in the play pod, including paint and decorations, board games, music instruments, books, costumes, and more.
We laid all of this stuff out in a Padlet to show Mrs. Getz in our meeting. After it concluded, we experienced our first major loss, but also our first major win.
When envisioning the play pod, we thought it was going to be indoors, and actually, it ended up being an outdoor shed that was intended to store outdoor toys.
Despite the change in location, Mrs. Getz was really satisfied with a lot of our ideas, and they could still apply to the outdoor shed. That being said, after a few more emails back and forth, we were able to get to work.
On October 18th, renovation began. The current state of the play pod could be described in 2 words: plain and messy. There was a bunch of donated recycled materials that were already placed inside the play pod.
We were very fortunate to be able to have a 5-gallon tub of beige paint donated to us by Faith's uncle, who owns a paint shop. It took about 2 weeks worth of work days and 6 after-school hours in order to complete it. This happened to be the biggest part of our renovation.
We were blessed to receive $125 from United Way that we could use on any materials that we needed. Looking at our brainstorming ideas, we decided to spend the money on multiple items to spice up the room.
They helped us get paint rollers, 3 rolls of gray indoor-outdoor suitable carpet, and wooden boards that we used as canvases. These things we used to transform the shed into a room. The next step was sorting through all of the recycled materials that were donated to us. We did our best to downsize and only take the materials that we thought the kids could use safely and effectively.
The point of using recycled materials is to inspire kids to use their imaginations. You could turn an old PVC pipe into a telescope or use a bin to make snow blocks.
We wanted to give the kids more options, so we asked some of them what they would like. Yoga pose. We couldn't get them a unicorn, but we thought the next best option was hula hoops, jump ropes, sleds, and wearable costumes. We got these things with the help of United Way and Mr. Babiasz. The next step was making the room more functional.
Our ideas for this was to include shelves and a tire rack. We were able to use old shelves that were going unused in Faith's basement.
Making plans for the tire rack was not as easy.
We decided to go to Ernesto, the handyman at Brendel Elementary, for his ideas. He suggested we made a tire stopper to hold them in place using 2x4 wooden planks. Julian then asked the woodshop teacher if he'd be willing to donate about 6 feet of planks. Amazingly enough, he was able to help us out. We then brought them to Ernesto, and he was able to drill the planks into the floor to make a tire stopper.
Then it was time to lay down carpeting. Julian was able to get a box cutter from his house, and Faith was able to get glue from her house so that we could get the corners down perfectly.
Corinne was able to get a label maker from her house so that we could put names on the shelves and bins to specify exactly what was inside.
Last but certainly not least was incorporating art.
We came up with a design for the board that was going to go on the outside of the play pod. We wanted a bulldog to be pictured with the Bulldog Box printed to make it more personalized to the school and intriguing from the outside. For the rules board, Hunter came up with a creative acronym using the word Bulldogs, with a different rule coming off of each letter.
The last thing that we incorporated was painting positivity and creativity above the doors inside the pod. We did this to highlight the positivity project traits that were the basis behind our project.
We wanted them to be kind with other students, like sharing. We wanted them to be grateful that they were able to have this privilege, and we wanted them to be open-minded to recycled items as well as their peers.
Finally, everything was in place and we were ready to present it to the students and staff at Brendel.
We set up 2 separate dates. January 8th, we plan to meet at 8:30 a.m. on a late start to give a presentation to the staff. On January 10th, we plan to meet at 2:30 p.m. after school to introduce it to the first classroom of students.
We presented the key variables of our project in front of the staff. After we spoke, Ms. Getz invited all the teachers outside to take a look for themselves. Despite it being blistering cold, teachers seemed very impressed and even took time to hula hoop, jump rope, and slide down a hill. We were able to do the same thing with students in a class 2 days later. All in all, the experience of being in this leadership class is like no other class we have ever taken.
I learned how hard it was to turn an idea into reality.
I realized the importance of helping out in the community.
This project has helped me feel more responsible.
This project has helped me understand the importance of helping other people and leaving a legacy.
More takeaways were time management and persistency.
Other aspects are taking away more maturity, such as being reliable, space organization, and learning staying on task skills.
We also had to deal with talking in front of adults and crowds.
Right, and then we also had to learn when the right time was to ask for something or when the right time was to voice our concerns or issues and problems. This project has drawn us closer together and we're very thankful to have had this fulfilling opportunity.